Hello, welcome back to the place to be reviews. Before you come in the front door, remember to take off your shoes. We just cleaned the carpet. Disney losing confidence in Cat Pan mediocre. Brie Larson due to Spider-Man. Well, we're on cosmicbooknews.com. This article from a couple days ago, like I said, in my earlier Batwoman video, I have been off for the weekend, kind of just enjoying the family and some friends and taking a break from YouTube, but to come back this morning and hit 102 subscribers, it was like, got to get back to work, and I still have a show to write for this evening. We'll be doing the anchor show for an hour, pre-recorded. It'll be myself and Coach Loudy, and then we will be switching right over to the YouTube channel shortly after 9 p.m. Eastern and going live for about an hour to an hour and a half, and it will be Monday night Going In Raw featuring myself and Coach Loudy. We'll be talking some wrestling, both past and present stuff, because, well, you know what? We can. And of course, we will still give you the coverage of the MCU, Star Wars, all our normal stuff. Who's Worthy of Mjolnir? I will be covering the movie releases for this week. Be doing that. So let's get into this article by Matt McGloin from CosmicBookNews.com. Disney losing confidence in Cat Pan mediocre. Brie Larson due to Spider-Man. And this is a picture from Endgame, obviously. She was helping Peter get the gauntlet across the battlefield because, she had to go speak to his manager. She was obviously dissatisfied with the service. And you can see the contempt she looks at him for because he is, of course, a cisgendered, heterosexual white male, albeit a small virtue signaling one. Still, to a intersectional feminist, that means absolutely nothing. You're a man, you're a dog. Unless you're a subservient male feminist, and then you're only good enough to advance their cause. A new rumor claims that Disney has lost confidence in Brie Larson and Cat Pan mediocre, which has to do with the loss of Spider-Man to Sony. And I'm going to tell you why. This article is going to tell you why, but I'm going to enter my own editorialization into this, as I always do. It's claimed that Disney, Marvel Studios, and Kevin Feige were going to use Spider-Man and Tom Holland to make Brie Larson and Cat Pan mediocre more likable in the MCU, which is now the MCU, which we'll be referring to it as now on. But now that Spider-Man is gone, Disney's worried about the future of Cat Pan mediocre, as very well they should be, because they know, as well as we do, why that movie made $1 billion, and it's not because Brie Larson is so relatable and likable as a character. No, that would be Tom Holland, that is. Interesting enough, as seen in Spider-Man Far From Home, Tom Holland is the first to have name-dropped Cat Pan mediocre in the MCU, and they just told him, well, you have to do this line because we're going to pair you two together, and she's going to dominate you, which was exactly what they had planned. She was just going to make a whipping post out of him. What is also interesting is that Brie Larson was supposed to be the face of the MCU moving forward, the new leader of the Avengers, and the most powerful character in the MCU. However, Kevin Feige didn't announce Cat Pan mediocre 2 as being part of their Phase 4 slate, which is heavily female-oriented. To say it's heavily female-oriented is underselling it substantially. And Feige only hinted at the sequel being announced in the future. We'll talk about that just in a minute. Cat Pan mediocre has no writer, no director, no release date, no start of production, or even hinted at. This is because they had here, Infinity War, Endgame, the two biggest movies in the MCU. Endgame, the biggest movie ever now, grossing box office wise. Was it the best movie in the MCU? No, not by a long shot. Did it make the most money? Absolutely, because it was the denouement of a 22 film arc. I say 22 because there's one I'm leaving out because it's irrelevant, inconsequential, nonsensical retcon that they put in the name of feminism, identity politics, and the fact that we need diversity and inclusion to be ham-fisted and shoehorned because whamming. No. See, you can have awesome female characters like Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. Black Widow's getting a movie 5 years too late, and that movie will do probably really good box office, even though its timing is horrible because the character's dead and there's nowhere else to go with her. Which is what I don't see a prequel doing. I don't know. But no, they don't have anything to shoehorn Cat Pan mediocre in between now. So they're not going to release it anytime soon. It's not going to be in Phase 4. It'll definitely not be released in Phase 5. They'll give you every excuse they can because it's starting to unravel now. And I'm going to link a wonderful YouTube video in the description of this that goes into greater detail on the financial side of things from a huge channel called World Class Bullshitters. They just released that this morning, and it really goes into the financial side of this. I've seen everybody's making the rounds covering these articles. Like I said, I was off for the weekend. I'm doing it Monday, playing a little catch up. But I feel like I owe this to you guys to kind of cover this because it's very relevant right now. But I'm going to link the World Class Bullshitters video in the description just because the financial side of it is covered. And Jeff always goes into wonderful detail on that. And if you like my videos, you will love theirs because the World Class Bullshitters videos are always second to none. So I give them all props for that. Absolutely, man. They're a great channel. And if, like I said, it's all about the fandom menace. And, you got World Class Bullshitters, Comic Artists, Pro Secrets, Geeks and Gamers. There's all kinds of channels in the fandom menace. Those are just the big ones, too. I mean, you've got Raiders of Lost Flicks. That's my brother from another mother, the Groovinator. All these guys that you need to check out their channels. Goober Brothers Entertainment, David Applegate. There's a lot of channels. And if you're into toys, we're talking superheroes, 2 Cents Toys by my man Salvador. Let's get him up to 100 subs now. I just cracked the 102 mark today, so let's get him up to 100. Let's get David Applegate up to 100. Let's get these guys, that have been helping support us here at the Place to Be Reviews all up to 100 subs and get their videos some more traction. So what is also interesting is that Brie Larson was supposed to be the face of the MCU moving forward. Okay, we read that. Cat Pan, has no director, no release date. It should also be pointed out that Marvel is apparently bringing back Robert Downey Jr. for their Phase 4 plans, as Tony Stark is said to be coming back for the Black Widow prequel. We've already heard that that's going to be recycled, unused footage. Or not recycled, but unused footage. Robert Downey is also rumored for an Ironheart Disney Plus series. That would be the dumbest fucking thing they could ever do. That would totally take away from his tragic sacrifice in Endgame. That really belittles that and kind of puts a black mark on it. Because now he's going to come back for Ironheart. Like, anybody gives a shit about Riri Williams. I'm sorry. That is a stupid character. This is just this ham-fisted bullshit. Like, I'm so tired of it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to go off on tangents like this, but you know what? I really, it's stupid. Obviously, if Brie Larson was the new face of the MCU moving forward, Cat Pan Mediocre and Cadaver Danvers would be a big part of Phase 4. Presently, they are not. That is just the face of America's ex-wife right there. Like, that is just pure cat litter, stale baguettes, Aquanet hairspray, and just body odor. I mean, she's just gross. Cat Pan Mediocre and Brie Larson in big trouble, says rumor. Insiders filled in the Overlord DVD YouTube channel that all is not well with Cat Pan Mediocre at Disney, and that the studio's lost confidence in the character. Of course, Overlord DVD is Dictor Van Doomcock. You should go over and subscribe to Doomcock as well. So we get on with these other big YouTube channels like him and Gary at Nerdrotic. They're just a litany of channels that you can, check out for all this kind of cool stuff. And these guys, these are the big dogs, these are like the big players in the fandom menace. So, I'm not name drop. I'm giving them shout outs because these are the people that kind of inspired me to do my channel. So I try to be optimistic about things, because everybody says, oh, the fandom menace, you guys are just a bunch of hate. You're a hate group. You're negative. It's like, no, we're not. We don't like stupidity and identity politics shoehorned into our entertainment, which is supposed to be escapist fun. But, these studios can't help but they virtue signal for the sake of dollars. Ugh. Disney is having Brie Larson fatigue, and they have lost confidence in her and in the direction they're moving with Cat Pan Mediocre, the YouTuber claims, who stresses this is to be considered as a rumor at this time. Marvel had plans for Cat Pan Mediocre, but those plans were utterly derailed by the loss of Spider-Man to Sony, which I am sick and tired of seeing people cry about. Sony needs to give Spider-Man back. He belongs at Marvel. Spidey's a Marvel character. He belongs there. No. That's what I got to say to you. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to shit on people for their opinions, but I'm sick and tired of seeing little high school Spider-Man with his doofus cast of characters that now they're going to have to recast. Now, that's not the actors. That's the characters. The way they're written, the way they're portrayed is the actors only have so much material that they can work with and only so much flexibility in which they can interpret the role. Those characters are bad. Like I said, I just watched The Greatest Showman, and I have a newfound respect for Zendaya. That being said, as MJ, no thank you. The YouTuber goes on to state that Marvel went to realize Cat Pan Mediocre is a little stiff and a bit unlikable, so Marvel is counting on pairing her with Spider-Man in order to dehumanize her and balance her a bit. So this is the reason that they wanted to do that, because Spider-Man was going to be Captain Marvel's bitch, and that's what this article is going to go on to say. The YouTuber then goes on to say, a reason that Sony may have not wanted Spider-Man to continue in the MCU is because of Kevin Feige's politically correct route he's taking Phase 4, which, among other things, sees Feige race bend and gender swap classic Marvel characters, which happened in the Cat Pan Mediocre movie to an extent. I'm not going to get into the backstory, you all know it. The YouTuber claims that Spider-Man was going to be used as a second banana to Cat Pan Mediocre, meaning she would have belittled Spidey in order to prop herself up. Spidey would have also been the butt of jokes and would have been brought much-needed humor to Cadaver Danvers. It's also said that Cat Pan Mediocre would have humiliated Spider-Man in order to promote Disney's PC feminist agenda that shows females being better than males. And I have no reason to not believe that, to disbelieve that, because that's exactly what they're doing right now. They're making a joke out of, they made a joke out of Thor and Thor Ragnarok to make Valkyrie look strong because she's the new king of Asgard, because more representation, which, cool. Just don't make it ham-fisted. Just do it. Make the characters good. Write the characters well. Make us care about them. Make us invest in them. And then when you introduce things like that, we won't be like, well, you're just doing this for identity politics and woke points, which aren't redeemable for cash value. But Kevin Feige doesn't care because he's the master of a long con. I've said this every video I talk about the MCU. And God damn it, I love the MCU, but Groovinator said the other night that I'm like Darren McGavin with the super glue in A Christmas Story trying to put the lamp back together after his wife knocks off the table and breaks it. And then somebody used up all the glue on purpose. And I'm just going to keep doing it, man. There's things that I'm still looking forward to, but I don't want to say what they are, because as soon as I say what they are out loud, they get fucked, like Thor. So yeah, they were going to use this. This is just, yeah, here we go right here. Look at this bitch. I mean, I'm sorry. This is just hatred for a man. And this right here is beauty. I love Elizabeth Olsen's character, and for them to say that this thing right here is the most powerful character in the MCU compared to her, who is has the strength to and powers to bend and warp reality and shape it, which her WandaVision show is going to be largely based around. And then to say that just because she can split a spaceship in half, she's the most powerful character in the MCU. And notice I'm singing the praises of a female character, not only because I think the actress is absolutely beautiful, but I think the character is bad as hell in the MCU and doesn't get the amount of respect and love she should. She was supposed to be more of a bigger showcase character after Age of Ultron, which introduced her and her brother Quicksilver, who was killed off way too early in the franchise. Ultron gets undue hate. I like that movie. James Spader really sells the shit out of that because he's a great villain. But no, Scarlet Witch should definitely get more shine. And with the WandaVision show and her being a major part of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we're finally going to get to see that. Sony saving Spider-Man from Disney and Marvel, that I can agree with. Regarding Sony, the YouTuber claims that unfortunately for Marvel, Sony has other plays for Spider-Man, plans that don't involve Spidey being second best and a cuck to Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. Exactly! That nail, bah, right on the head, right there. They were going to cuck him out to make that just horrible character look better, which is damn near impossible to do because she's so terrible. Ugh. It's said, so Disney is kind of stuck as they need Spider-Man to give Cat Pan Mediocre a personality. And now they're stuck with a rigid, unlikable hero with no personality and no plans moving forward, claims a YouTuber. The YouTuber goes on to question if Cat Pan Mediocre was a smash hit that Disney claimed it was, why there was no sequel announced at San Diego Comic-Con or the D23 Expo, and those are very good points raised by Overlord DVD. The current thinking is the loss of Spider-Man derailed all of Kevin Feige's announcements at D23, which is why Feige only announced a couple of new Disney Plus shows and brought in Ryan Coogler to announce the date of Black Panther 2 that doesn't even have a title, while all the other movies announced at the Comic-Con do have titles. As noted by the YouTuber, Disney is releasing a Black Widow prequel movie and Thor Love and Thunder starring Natalie Portman as female Thor before they even touch Cat Pan Mediocre again. Cat Pan Mediocre wasn't all it was cracked up to be, says the YouTuber. Cat Pan Mediocre is on shaky ground. The company is losing confidence in the character. They hope to bolster her appeal using Spider-Man, but those plans have now been torpedoed by Sony, which frankly makes me glad that Sony saved Spider-Man from all of us. Thank you very much, Sony. Thank you. Wholeheartedly, thank you. Again, it is noted that Spider-Man being Cat Pan Mediocre's lapdog wouldn't be a good thing. With it said, Disney is losing confidence in Cat Pan Mediocre, and it may slowly start to realize that alienating your fan base isn't the best way to run a business. Cat Pan Mediocre, Brie Larson, and Spider-Man rumors sounds likely. Admittedly, the YouTube video is kind of wonky as it puts a parodic spin on things, but I also brought up a similar argument in my article on why Spider-Man is going to Sony, and it might be a good thing. An article at the LA Times also brought up one of the reasons Sony decided to pull Spider-Man out of the MCU is because of concerns surrounding how Spider-Man would fit in with Marvel's Phase 4 plans, which definitely fits with the above rumor, and it absolutely does. If you've ever seen I watched one the other day because my son was watching Disney Channel. And in the afternoon, after school, they had these little Marvel bits on. And they had one, and it was Cat Pan Mediocre and Spider-Man. And it didn't really go overboard with her being more powerful and smarter than him. But it definitely showed it, as it made him look kind of just goofy and her look all powerful. And yeah, I was watching, I'm like, nope, done, changed it. We all see that Sony, unlike Marvel and Kevin Feige, look to be sticking with the classic versions of the characters for their own Spider-Man universe, as the Sony characters resemble their actual comic book counterparts, while Disney and Feige race bend and gender swap classic and beloved Marvel Comics characters, not for the sake of the story, but to serve a politically correct driven agenda, and that is absolutely right. Also, regarding the mention of Disney not liking the fact that Marvel and Feige alienating the fan base, that is exactly what happened with the Disney Star Wars movies, particularly with Rian Johnson's Star Wars The Last Jedi, or as we like to call it, the last fucking dumpster fire, as the Star Wars franchise is currently in disaster mode, and that is absolutely accurate. With the streaming content wars here, and Disney needing to compete with the likes of Netflix, Amazon, Apple, and Warner Media, alienating a big fan base such as Marvel or Star Wars could have disastrous consequences. Certainly Disney wouldn't do that again, right? Let's jump over to We Got This Covered and Matt Joseph. Disney reportedly lost confidence in Brie Larson and Cat Pan Mediocre. This is from a couple days ago. We're just going to see if this offers anything new. Let's see. Is Marvel Studios' first film with a female lead? Not true. Marvel's, this is pre-MCU, but Elektra, not a great movie, but it was a first female superhero film for Marvel. And apparently Marvel doesn't think that anything existed before 2019. We've had this discussion ad nauseum, and we're going to have it again. There was history, there was television, there was movies, there was superheroes, there was female action stars before 2019. Just because you want to act like nothing happened, nothing was ever accomplished outside of the MCU before 2019, there was female leads in movies that sold and made, sold figures, sold box office tickets, sold home releases, sold pay-per-views, well before Brie Larson and her smug, arrogant, stuck-up self walked in and started playing Cat Pan Mediocre. But hey, I'm just a 39-year-old white guy. What do I know, right? I'm not diverse enough to probably make this call. So, it's Marvel Studios' first film with a female lead. Cat Pan Mediocre had a ton of pressure when it landed in theaters earlier this year, and why it may not have been as beloved and praised as some other MCU movies, and stuck a bit too closely to the studio's familiar formula, it still brought us a fairly enjoyable origin story for Cadaver Danvers. No, the fuck it didn't. Not to mention that despite all those trolls trying to sabotage its reputation online, it went on to pull over $1.1 billion at the box office. No, it didn't. It did financially, but, where that money really came from, let the SEC investigation into Disney's inflating their own numbers and fraudulent accounting practices sort that out. Although the hero didn't have really much to do in the Avengers Endgame besides showing up in a few action scenes, sporting a snazzy new hairdo. Yeah, because that Karen hairdo is really hot. There's still much to come in the MCU for her, as Brie Larson has 5 films left on her contract. No. I don't think that's going to go like she thinks it's going to go. Be that as it may, the new rumor claiming that Disney has lost confidence in the actress and the hero she plays, and it all has to do with Spider-Man, according to Cosmic Book News, citing YouTube channel Overlord DVD. So yeah, take this one with a pretty big grain of salt for now. Marvel planned to use Tom Holland's Spidey to help make Cat Pan Marvel more likable, but the web slinger's out of the MCU, so they're worried that Cadaver Danvers will have a tough time finding a new favorite with the audiences. She will. Let's see. Yep. We already read that quote in the other article. This is no, I don't think I will. Apparently, the plan was to pair Carol up with Spidey for future films or to humanize and balance her out a bit, given she's currently a little stiff and unlikable, which is certainly true, absolutely. Furthermore, it said that Peter Parker's going to be his second banana. We read this. We read these quotes right here. Let's see. Again, we'll stress this should be taken with a heavy dose of salt, and the YouTuber even mentioned several times that it remains firmly filed in the rumor cabinet for now, but all that being said, this isn't too difficult to believe. Despite the film's success at the box office, it's true that Captain Marvel herself has failed to connect with a lot of fans, and many have had the same complaints as this report mentions. She's too stiff, unlikable, hard to relate to. Pairing up with Spider-Man certainly gone away to fixing that. No, it wouldn't have, because it would have just made him look like shit, and they would have cucked him out and made him look like a bitch in his own movie, or her movie. He would have been worthless. So this is the best thing, is to get him out of the MCU. I don't care what these little sycophants say. Sony is probably going to do right this time around. Hopefully they've learned from their mistakes with Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. If Venom is any indication of that, then absolutely Sony has kind of come around and they're ready to improve and give us the Spider-Man we deserve, not this teeny bopper high school Spider-Man that nobody really wants to see. Yeah, they made money because, like I said, normies are always going to spend money. And don't take that personal, because not everybody is as involved in these things and lives and breathes this stuff like some of us YouTubers do. This is like the news cycle to us, So, no, this definitely hopefully has some legs to it, because Brie Larson is insufferable to watch. She's unenjoyable. Her performances aren't, and please spare me the Oscar for Room. I mean, she played a rape victim. Yeah, that's how have her other movies done? How about Bismotti Blues? Should we talk about Bismotti Blues, or why Unicorn Store didn't get released theatrically? It sat on a shelf for 2 years until Netflix bought it because they thought they'd strike while the iron was hot. Well, the iron was never hot. It was shoved in a bucket of cold water. So I don't know, man. This getting Spider-Man away from her was great. I hope Sony keeps him in all these rumors of everybody wants like somebody to buy. Now it's Apple, and Disney's going to offer him $200 billion for $10 billion for Spider-Man, and Sony shouldn't sell him. No, don't sell it. I mean, I know you got a board of directors to answer to, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't sell on principle. I'd be like, no, because we know what you're going to do with this character, and we have more respect for this character, and this character's creator, Stan Lee, who, along with Jack Kirby, Marvel, but, people seem to forget that nothing happened, there are things actually happened before 2019, so Spider-Man can go over to Sony, be in their Venomverse, the Spider-Verse, and we'll get some great movies out of them, I'm sure. We already got Morbius coming, the Black Cat and Silver, it's supposed to have a Black Cat movie coming down the pipe. We're now, hopefully, fingers crossed, before anything else jumps off, we get a Sinister Six movie within the next couple of years. There's a lot, you got Spider-Man 3 and 4, I believe they're going to do. I mean, there's a lot of things. Like, these are just kind of rumors I've heard through the grapevine, different, little sources. But, yeah, what do you guys think? It's a good thing to get Spider-Man out of the MCU, away from Cat Pan Mediocre. He can't be cucked out and made to look like a fool this way. So, yeah. I'm all for this, man. Let me know what you think. Bitch, slap that like button on the way out. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and yeah, join us tonight. We'll have the Anchor Hour from 8 till 9 p.m. Then we'll be live on the Place to Be Reviews YouTube channel for a couple hours, hour and a half maybe, talking some wrestling with me, Coach Loudy. If you don't, hey, it's your own loss. Find us on Facebook. Remember, we got a Facebook group now, the official Place to Be Reviews fan page. You can put a join request in. We'll vet you, make sure you're all right, get you in the group. We have a Facebook page, The Place to Be Reviews. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under The Place to Be Reviews. Also, you can email us, theplayetobereviews@mail.com, the world's best mail. I am Etep Okuyan signing off, and I don't see you. In case I don't see you, have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow.